Hi folks, Hugo Rivera here with HugoRivera.net, and today I'm going to cover another fitness question, and then after that I'm going to leave the floor open for any questions that any of you may have. With that said, the question of the day is, am I doomed to stay fat or skinny for the rest of my life? Okay, and basically this question refers to genetics. You know, because a lot of people basically say, well, I cannot go ahead and lose weight because I have fat genetics, or I cannot go ahead and gain muscle because I have skinny genetics. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, while genetics will go ahead and play a role on how quickly you can lose body fat and gain muscle, okay, you can always attain the results that you want to achieve if you follow the right training and nutrition program, okay? Regardless of what genetics you have. I mean, I have friends of mine. I mean, you've all seen, you know, maybe if you've been seeing my videos, you've seen my buddy Rodzilla. He has awesome genetics and incredible physique, and God bless him for that. You know, that's how he is, right? He can gain muscle and lose body fat very, very quickly, the quickest I've seen. Me, on the other hand, it took me years to go ahead and build the muscle and lose the body fat. But the fact is that anybody can go ahead and attain a physique that is much better than what they currently have. That is the whole ticket here, okay? Regardless of the hand that you're dealt, when it comes to cards, you can go ahead and play the best you can with those cards. That's the ticket. The right training program and the right nutrition will allow you to achieve your long-term results, your long-term goals, you know, as quickly as possible. That's the deal. Some people will attain them a little bit quicker, others it may be a little bit slower, but you will get to the final destination. That's the thing to remember. So forget about the whole genetics thing, okay? Granted, now if we're talking about competing at the Mr. Olympia level or the Miss Olympia, well, that's a different story. Then genetics definitely play a role on how big you can go ahead and get like that, you know, and that not many of us can go ahead and achieve that level. But again, you can certainly achieve an incredible physique that will go ahead and turn heads, regardless of who you are, okay? That's the key thing to remember. So in order to do so, you know, in order to go ahead and get a six-pack and be able to go ahead and have, you know, a nice and toned physique, whether you're a male or a female, the key thing is to have the right training, first and foremost. Your training should be, you know, 45 minutes in length, in and out, you know, 30 to 45 minutes will go ahead and get the job done. The key thing is that the training, again, as I've said before, it needs to be periodized, meaning that you will do 3 to 4 weeks of like higher repetition work, you know, anywhere between 12, 20, 30 reps even. It's going to be fast paced to be able to go ahead and really take the body to the brink of overtraining. And then after those weeks, you're going to go ahead and pull back. And what you're going to do is that you're going to increase the weight, reduce the repetitions, reduce the increase the amount of rest in between sets by a bit in order to make the training a little bit more slow paced. And then you will be able to gain mass at an accelerated rate, okay? That is the ticket. So you'll be doing, you know, the 3 to 4 weeks of, like I said, higher repetition training, 12 to 20, and then you'll do like, you know, 2 to 4 weeks of like lower repetition training in the realm of like 6 to 10 reps, all right? That's the whole ticket here when it comes to periodization. That way it keeps the body guessing, it keeps the body moving forward because you're constantly pressing the accelerator and then pulling back, pressing and then pulling back. If you don't do that, if you press, what happens? You end up overtrained, you end up injured, right? But if you don't press enough, then you're not going to go ahead and get any kind of results. So this is why periodization is great, because you can go ahead and press and then you can go ahead and pull back. And then in that manner, you stay in that range that gives you the best muscle growth, right? You're constantly in that muscle growth area, which is the ticket over here. I see a whole bunch of questions coming in. Be sure that I'll take care of your questions as soon as I'm done over here with what I'm talking about. I'll go through it and I'll see what questions I have and I'll be answering them, okay? So that's the ticket for gaining the muscle and triggering the fat loss signal. Now, the other part, of course, is the diet. If you don't have the right diet, then you're not going to be able to fuel the muscle growth and you're not going to be able to starve the fat, right? So the right diet. The key thing is to start with a good baseline diet. How do you design a baseline diet? Well, very simple. If you think that you have like 30 pounds of fat to lose, you just go ahead and basically just take your body weight and times 1 is going to give you the amount of carbs that you need every day in grams. Times 1 is also going to go ahead and give you the amount of protein that you need in grams every single day. And then times 0.33 is going to go ahead and give you the amount of fat that you need on a daily basis. Tim, good to see you, buddy. Training. Keep up the good work. Go ahead and train hard. GIFD, buddy. Tim is actually one of my clients who's done some incredible amount of progress over here in the past, well, we're in year 2 now, believe it or not. So yeah, he's progressed tremendously. So I'm super proud of Tim. Big shout out to Tim over there in Japan who's killing it. Tim is a rock star, by the way. So yeah, let's go ahead and give Tim a few likes over here because Tim has really killed it this past year, making some massive, massive gains. But back to the diet, as I was talking about, you know, that's going to go ahead and give you your baseline diet. So what you're going to do is that after a couple of weeks of trying the baseline diet, you will see if you're, you know, if you're gaining muscle and losing body fat. How do you do that? Well, you have to collect some measurements, right? You got to go ahead and see what your measurement for your waist is. You got to do this before you start and after, right? So you're going to go ahead and collect your waist measurement, your chest and back measurement, your arms measurement, right? You're going to collect your thighs, your calves, at the very least, right? For women, I also recommend that they collect their hips measurement. And then if you see that your body weight is staying the same, but your measurements have gone down, guess what? You're gaining muscle and losing body fat at the same time. If you see that you've lost some body weight, but your waistline is going down and your other measurements are going up or staying the same, again, you're gaining muscle and losing body fat. Okay? That's the ticket here. And then obviously, if everything stays the same, that means that you will need to go ahead and cut the carbs by like 20 grams maybe to see if that goes ahead and does the trick to get the fat loss started. Okay? But that's the ticket. And I also recommend that in addition to collecting the measurements and the weight, you also take some pictures, because if you don't, that way you have a variety of data that will show you what is going on. Okay? So with the pictures, the measurements, and the weight, you get to know if you're gaining muscle and losing body fat. Okay? That's the ticket right there. Because otherwise, if you just collect the weight, you don't know what the heck is going on. The weight is just half the story. Alright? You need to have all this data so that you see what's happening. So like I said, with me, for example, these days, I'm concentrating on staying at 190 pounds, but all my measurements are changing. Like my waist is continuously going down and all the other measurements are growing a little bit, right? Or staying the same and gaining in terms of quality. So for example, that's another thing. Like in my case, you know, I have an 18.5-inch arm. So what happens is that staying the same in terms of circumference, but the pictures show more lines. So the quality is increasing, which means that I'm not losing size. In fact, I'm gaining size because I'm replacing that size. Whatever little body fat I had left is being replaced with like new muscle, right? So that's the whole ticket to understand. This is why collecting measurements is so important. Jamal, you're asking about how to lose belly fat, and I'm just really covering that right now, buddy. So when this is done, just go back to the beginning of the presentation because that's exactly what I'm covering, okay? Anyways, Michael says, good advice. Thanks. You're welcome, buddy. Thank you so much for your comment. So that's the whole deal with the diet right there. So when you have the right diet and training program, that's when you're going to go ahead and get the results, all right? So, and like I said, I don't care. Some people may have faster results, okay? Some other people will have slower results, but with the consistency of execution of the program, you will get to the long-term goals that you want, okay? And that's another thing to understand. A lot of people say, well, I want to go ahead and get in shape in the next 6 weeks, okay? And they do a great job and they get in shape, whatever, and then they blow away the training, they forget about the diet, and lo and behold, guess what? They start gaining again and they start losing muscle. So the thing to understand is that this is a lifetime commitment. It's not something that you just go ahead and do for a few weeks and then you just toss it away. You need to do this for the rest of your life, really. I mean, and the beauty of it is, though, that if you put that investment and you take care of yourself by making sure that you do 30 to 45 minutes of training, 3 to 6 days a week, depending on what your schedule looks like, and you follow the right diet, you're going to look better and better year after year. Hi, Dennis. How are you? Year after year, you're going to look better. So that's a huge reward right there. So I think that's a good incentive to go ahead and follow the right plan. But with that said, you can go ahead and kick genetics in the butt. Like me, for example, I come from a family that has a propensity to gain body fat, but it's not a problem for me because I've turned that to my advantage. I've just created a situation where with the right training and the right diet program, I've completely changed my metabolism. I mean, I kid you not, I need 3,000 calories minimum every single day to just stay where I'm at. Kid you not. So, I mean, that wasn't possible before. With my natural genetics, if you want to go ahead and call it that way, with the genetics I was born with, if I just let things go with no diet and no training, of course I have a super slow metabolism. But because I have trained my metabolism to be super fast and to be a muscle building machine, well, I don't look like I have those problems. In fact, I have a very different metabolism today than I did when I was 14. So this is really, really good news. So that's the whole ticket here, okay? Don't be discouraged, if you come from like a family that has, fat genetics or skinny genetics, it doesn't freaking matter. The key thing is that you implement the right training and diet program. And you know what? If you're completely lost, I'm going to go ahead and put over here a link so that you see my 21-day program. It's a free program that you can go ahead and do and try it out for 21 days. It's periodized already for you, so you go ahead and try it out. And then if you need more routines, go ahead and be sure to check out my books, The Body Sculpting Bible for Men and The Body Sculpting Bible for Women. That is just completely filled up with periodized training routines, and it has information on the training, nutrition, the supplementation, and it has a program for every single level. So if you're super advanced, it has a program for you. If you're just getting started, or if you've never, ever trained before, has a program for you too. Okay, so you just can go ahead into the right program, and it just goes ahead and teaches you how to get into the best shape possible as you get more and more advanced. So it's really, really cool. Nayan is asking, when will you come back again on live? Worst case scenario, probably next Friday, same time. This past week it was super busy. I was meaning to come back on Monday, but that wasn't possible, unfortunately. I have a lot of clients, and I'm really making sure that I offer the best service. So as a result, I wasn't able to go ahead and come over here. But I make sure to come at least once a week to go ahead and help everybody out there. So, yeah. Nayan says, Body Sculpting? Yeah, those are my books. Body Sculpting Bible for Men, Body Sculpting Bible for Women. And I'll be posting the link over here pretty soon. As soon as the live is done, I'll be going ahead and posting the link in the description and also in the comments. Okay? Let me see if I have any kind of questions that I can help to answer. Let me go all the way to the beginning. All right. Hi there to everybody. Let's see. Six-pack I covered. Do you have to erase all carbs to get lean and retain muscle? Absolutely not, Michael. Like I said, the key thing is to just start with a baseline diet, okay? Body weight times 1 in carbs, body weight times 1 in protein, and body weight times 0.33 in fats. Obviously, the body weight has to be in pounds, okay? And the result is going to be the grams that you need every single day. That's going to go ahead and get you started so you can get on the right path to, gaining muscle and losing body fat. If you were to take off all the carbs from your diet, what eventually starts to happen is that your thyroid level begins to shut down, so your metabolism goes down, and furthermore, you also lose muscle fullness because you need carbs to go ahead and have the full muscles. And you also have some energy issues as well. There are some times, when you're super advanced, and I covered this in my books actually, where you can go ahead and do carb cycling. But even with carb cycling, I reduce carbs just for like a day or two, and then I up them immediately, okay? So it's not a zero carb diet. I mean, you can reduce carbs a little bit, but not eliminate them. If you eliminate carbs completely, that's just going to be a recipe for disaster. It's just going to bring down your metabolism. The key way to increase your metabolism is to gain muscle, because as you gain 10 pounds of muscle, that's 500 extra calories that you're burning, and that's new muscle that you need to feed. So instead of cutting calories down to keep going down in body fat and to continue gaining muscle, you actually have to increase your calories, okay? This is super duper important. Here's where a lot of people miss the boat. As you go up, let me repeat this, as you go up in muscle mass and you lose body fat, every 10 pounds you need to do a caloric adjustment up. Because if you don't do that caloric adjustment, what's going to happen is that the body's going to think you're in an emergency mode. It's going to go ahead and completely kill your metabolism. Okay? It's just going to go ahead and shut down your thyroid levels so that your metabolism goes down, and that way your results are going to stall, okay? Because again, the body thinks it's dying. The body doesn't know that you're trying to get a six-pack over here, all right? So that's the key thing to remember. You got to do an adjustment of calories high. In fact, most of my clients, they start with me, like most of the women start at like 1,500 calories, and most of the men start like around 2,000, and then, you know, as time goes by and they gain more muscle, I bring them up. Okay, that's the ticket. So I have women that are actually taking in these days 2,500 calories. I have guys that are taking well in excess of 3,000, you know. So it's very interesting how that happens, because as the person gets leaner and more muscular, they can be fed more. So that's the key thing to remember, okay? Anyways, let's see if there's anything else. My take on plant-based protein. Well, if it is a plant-based protein, it needs to be one protein that has all the branched-chain amino acids in it, because if it is not supplemented with all the branched-chain amino acids, more than likely it's going to be missing one of them, so it will not be a complete protein, okay? It's super important that you have all of the proteins when you feed yourself, because otherwise if you're missing an important protein, like one of the branched-chain amino acids, for example, then you're not going to get the absolute best results, okay? So I don't have any problem, like I said, with the plant-based proteins, as long as they have proper levels of leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Those are the branched amino acids, okay? So it's real good stuff. Let's see, what else? Doing good. Training. Let's see. How to lose belly fat, which I answered already. Can you please recommend some routines? Yeah, I'll go ahead and be posting my 21-day routine over here. How many eggs can you take every day? It depends, but typically me, I have like 3. Somebody smaller than me can have 2. For women, I recommend 1 whole egg, and then the rest will be in egg whites. And I can go ahead and post over here a sample diet as well as soon as the live is over, so you can go ahead and check it out, okay? Let's see, what else? Please say good food routine. Yep, I'll be posting that, not a problem. And okie doke. Let's see. So when I do packs game, my belly gets fat on that time, it not reduces, don't know why. I think you mean that when you're doing your abs, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jamal, I think you mean that when you're working out your abs, you seem to actually lose definition. What's happening there is that when you're working your abs, if you don't have enough definition, you're going to be retaining some water, so it makes it look like you're actually moving backwards when that's not the case. So don't worry about that. The key thing is to continue the training and the right diet, and as you're burning body fat, you're going to get to the point to where your skin becomes so thin that when you actually do your ab work, you don't have that problem anymore. Okay, so that problem is just momentary. It's just because you're holding, enough body fat to where when you do the activity, the extra water retention just makes your skin look thicker. That's all. Okay, so it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Question, Agent says, how many days can I go to the gym? I'm doing gym now 6 days. Yeah. You could go to the gym 6 days a week. It's not a problem. In fact, sometimes I train 7 days a week, as long as you're just training 45 minutes, okay? Because after 45 minutes, your cortisol levels begin to go up, your testosterone levels begin to go down. Not a good thing. So, yeah, as long as you go to the gym for only 45 minutes, get in and out, you can train 6-7 days a week if you want, okay? Craig says, what's your opinion on 12-week contests, like Body for Life, for example? I think it's a great idea, Craig, because a lot of people don't want to go ahead and step on a bodybuilding stage, but they still need some sort of motivation to get things done. So I think it's a wonderful idea to have contests like that. I know that Body for Life is an awesome contest from Bill Phillips. Lita Brada hosts also a contest called the Lean Body Challenge. So I think contests like that are great because they go ahead and give you the motivation, they give you a deadline, and then they give you the motivation to go for it, you know. If you set yourself a deadline, like I've said before, then you will make every single workout count. You will make every single day really and truly be as productive as possible in terms of your training and your diet. That way it's much harder to justify missing a training session or missing meals or having the wrong meals because you have a deadline. So that's why I think these contests are great, you know. So if you will be doing a 12-week contest, my recommendation will be break it up in 3 4-week phases. So, you know, these 4 weeks, here are your goals. Really go ahead and kill it. Focus on those 4 weeks. And then after those 4 weeks, you have new goals. You go ahead and kill it for those 4 weeks. You'd be amazed, Craig. I mean, the most incredible gains I've made in terms of like gaining muscle and losing body fat is when I signed up for my first bodybuilding competition, okay? I was amazed at how much progress I did in 12 weeks. It blew my head. Why? Because I had to be focused on everything and I had to make sure that every single day counted. Otherwise, I was going to look like a fool on stage. So nobody wants that, trust me. So I think these contests are great. So definitely, I highly recommend people to go ahead and participate on them. You know, especially if they're having issues motivating themselves. Me, I have my own Mr. Olympia contest every year. That comes out to be my birthday, so December 5th. I basically make sure that every single birthday I look way better than the one before. So I break up my year, you know, into like 12-week phases, and then I have my whole thing. I break up the year in 12-week phases, and then I have I focus on 4 weeks at a time, like I just mentioned to you, you know, and then I have an extra few weeks at the end over there to be able to get whatever muscle and definition I want to get in for that year. Okay, so that's the advice right there. Jamal says, you're right, sir. Craig says, or some of the other contests. Yep, so I answered that already. Nayan says, thanks. You're welcome. Jamal says, some bodybuilders say that eat boiled eggs without yellow part is necessary. No, I eat the egg completely. The yellow part, believe it or not, actually has good fats in it, and you need those fats to be able to produce testosterone. So it's a big misconception that you cannot eat the yellow. I suggest that you eat the yellow part, and then whatever else you need in terms of protein for that meal. Let's say that you have 3 eggs. That comes out to be like 15 grams of protein. Typically my meals need to be 40 grams of protein each, so I make up the difference with liquid egg whites. Egg whites that already come pre-prepared on a carton. So I go ahead and make up the difference with the liquid egg whites, but I make sure that I have my 3 whole eggs because those fats are good. Those fats are going to help you to produce testosterone and some other important hormones, okay? Big misconception to go ahead and toss the yellow part, okay? Let's see, Craig says, great advice. Thank you, Craig. Nayan says, good live, enjoying. Thanks, Nayan. I appreciate that. How many eggs you can eat every day? Yeah, like I said before, you know, you can go ahead and eat like 2 to 3, depends. Like if it is a woman, I typically recommend 1 whole egg and then the rest in egg whites. If it is a guy, you know, a little bit smaller than me, maybe 2 eggs, and then for somebody like myself, then 3 eggs for sure. Jamal says, thanks a lot, sir, you're great. Thank you, I appreciate that, buddy. So, anyways, I think that's it for today. If there are no other questions, I'll be back next Friday around the same time, and if I'm going to be live at any other time, I'll try to go ahead and announce it so that you can all make yourselves available if you have the time. Okay? Anyways, with that said, thank you so much for participating. And until next time, take care and train hard.